Welcome, traveler, to Class&Cool, where campfires crackle, steel sings, and legends are forged one pull at a time. Tonight, we venture into forgotten ruins, brave, dangerous dungeons, and chase rare loot across wild frontiers. Allies may rise, enemies may awaken, and the next epic story could begin with our very first step. Ready your spells, sharpen your blade. The adventure starts now.
All right. Welcome back. Happy Friday, Saturday, depending on your time zone. It's another late night. We're going to be chilling in Faelindral tonight, up in Monsters and Memories. For those of you that missed it, they just had a long playtest. I think it was a 9 or a 10-day playtest. When did they start? It was like the end of May until like June 7th or 8th, something like that. Either way, if you missed it, you might as well join their Discord, because that's the best place to find out when they're going to have their next playtest. But you know, October is right around the corner, so you could wait for early access, or you can just hang out, watch along, and wait until 1.0 release, which, you know, I'm a big fan of that personally. But I say that, but then here I am hooked on Monsters and Memories. For those of you that are new here, I cover classic and cool MMORPGs. I almost said Monsters and Memories. Games like EverQuest, Classic, WoW. Grew up playing Dark Age of Camelot. But ultimately, I've tried every modern MMO too. So I enjoy the classics because they're a little bit more laid back, and the progression feels more meaningful. There's no microtransactions. There's still the social element, and it's not that forced social element, right? Like a lot of classic air quotes games, they try to say, you know, hey, we have a social MMO, but then you figure out like, oh, it's because you're forcing players to be social. It's like, the thing about classic MMOs is that nobody forced people to be social. The world was dangerous. The game was vast. There was tons of things to do. And a lot of those things to do were more fun with other people. I think if I look back on my EverQuest career since 1999, I've probably spent 99.9% of my time soloing. But I never stopped socializing. So it seems like a lot of devs, they kind of confuse the two, right? You know, you can have a living, breathing world just sitting in the home city, right? Resting in between battles, asking for buffs, and just the simple environment of seeing people run around. You know, that's enough social energy to keep the world feeling alive in and by itself. But I'm not going to go off on a tangent. So that's a little about me as far as Monsters and Memories. It's an in-development game. It is completely self-funded currently, meaning, you know, they're just using money from their 9 to 5. So they're living their day jobs. They've got their families. They're all volunteers saying, hey, wouldn't it be cool to make a massively multiplayer classic MMORPG, which is exactly what they set out to do. And 4 to 5 years later, here we are, almost at early access. So incredible job by, you know, a couple of volunteers essentially. And the other cool thing is that they don't take any funding. They don't have any Kickstarters. And they stream all of their development on Twitch. So completely unheard of, I know, but that's one of the reasons why it's such a cool project. So anyways, we're just gonna hop right in. But again, if you're new, this is a beta. This is you know, a lot of stuff that you see is going to be unfinished textures. There's going to be unfinished mechanics. There's going to be unfinished zones, white boxing, etc. But before I forget, actually, for those that do know about the project, now's a good time to kind of check out their patch notes. Let me see if I can pull it up. Well, actually, first, let me show you this, because Squats the Goblin, He's got a great channel, and he actually went ahead and did a video. What they're doing is they're remaking all the classes, and what I mean by remaking is they're making tweaks. So they're not like changing everything, but there's a lot of things that they're honing in on what feels good for that specific class and how it fits into the world that they're trying to build. So Archer, Druid, Spellblade, and Wizard are all those changes, are live. You can also go on their website under updates, and you can see Archer and Druid deep dives, Wizard deep dive, and Spellblade deep dive. So you can read the details on all that stuff. And then last but not least, where is it? Patch notes. So the latest patch is 0.25, and then they have the hot fixes, but this is the massive one from June 7th. Lots of stuff got updated. So Archer, Spellblade, Druid, and Wizard, all of these updates are now live. Some of them feel radically different. We are an Archer, so we're actually gonna get to experience those changes. I was watching Squats the Goblin's video. Not only are there a lot of changes, but he was using abilities that I didn't even know I had. Like I don't know if you were here the last time, but we were playing as Elessar the Archer, and you know, I had my routine going, you know what I mean? I shoot an arrow, then I do this attack and this. Come to find out, there was like 4 or 5 skills that apparently were available to me that I didn't even know were available to me, you know, because I'm a melee class, so I don't, you know, as a druid or something like that, or as a caster, I'm always thinking, oh, I gotta go buy my spells. But as an archer, I'm thinking, I need to make more arrows. I need to craft more arrows, right? I wasn't even thinking, I'm like, maybe I should go back to my archer trainer and see if there's any new abilities. So anyways, it's crazy. So we're gonna be trying a lot of that out. And then there's a lot of balance changes, fixes, crafting. Actually, there's a new crafting. There's basic tinkering has been added to support archer trap creation. So now what's crazy is, I've talked about this before, I would say like it would be cool if archer one day was, you know, because a ranger is, we know him as like the caster type of bow and arrow, like a lost dude, right? Since back in the day. But the archer, a lot of people said when Monsters and Memories first got announced, it's like, why do you have 2 rangers basically, right? And then once you played them, you could feel the difference. Like ranger is more of like you know, magical, and then archer is more of your like bowman, right? Strictly that. And one of the things I thought about is, man, it would be cool if there was traps that you could craft, and like there's a couple other ideas I thought of, but you know, this is something that obviously they've probably considered for a long time. So basic tinkering has been added for trap creation, so maybe we can try that out. And my favorite update of all, they added emotes. So I'm not sure if the full emote list is, no, it doesn't look like it's in the patch notes, but they added like slash dance and some other ones. Anyways, it's cool stuff, man. I can yap along to that, but yeah, so it's cool stuff. A lot of stuff is happening, and I'm excited to see what they come up with next. Oh, and before I forget, let me do my quick little shout outs. Again, I don't do this for monetization, I do this for fun, but for those of you that decided to be members, thank you. Atari, DC, Drew ATX, It's Only Lee, Superhero, Slayheim, Asmo, Asmodania, Pox37, thank you all. And the only person that's not on this list is Kurumorith. So I have to actually update that little mini video I made. So the less of you become members, the better, because I'm gonna have to update that list, which is going and making a custom video and then removing the green screen background and then adding a filter and all this stuff. So everything I do for this channel is extra. You'd think I get paid millions of dollars with the amount of money I've put into this, but it's really just all because I love the hobby. So all right, jokes aside, I think it's time we get into officially nighttime in Faelindral, so let's get in. I'll see you on the flip side. Look at that, we just got in and we already got a sow. Cool. So now we get to run around fast. So I got these new claws, man. These claws are super cool. And I almost made a new character today altogether because apparently they drew wood elves have beards now. So I was in the character creator and I was playing around with the different it's an updated character creator, and I was so excited. Man, there's this long Gandalf looking beard with this thick mustache, and then the long hair that's about, you know, you got the little bun, but it's got the long hair, kind of like something you'd see out of like in those old D&D like wood elf archers. And I was like, man, that's going to be my druid right there. Or for when 1.0 launch happens. It looked pretty cool. Oh, here's another cool thing. Let me show you guys. So now, anytime you stand on fire, if you stand on the fire for more than 10 seconds, you start jumping from the heat. No, I'm joking. That's one of the that's one of the new emotes that they added. They finally added dance to the game. So, and apparently I was watching Chinny D. He's live right now on Twitch. He's one of the developers, and he was talking about how like ultimately all the emotes are going to be race specific. So gnomes will have different emotes from trolls, you know, what else, humans, and they might even get creative and do some more fun stuff. I mean, he was theory crafting, but he like theory crafted / joked about how he would like to see something like where you could get emotes through in-game rewards, basically. Like not when you hear the word rewards, like let's be clear, like when we talk about rewards, we're talking about old school rewards. Like you actually kill a mob and you get a reward. That reward is loot, right? I'm not talking about like a UI pop-up saying, congratulations, you've played 10,000 hours. Here's your new emote. Like nothing like that, but like a reward for like a quest or for some kind of like guild alignment, whatever. And one of the things I said, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if you're going to do that, then the emote can be like a secret salute or a secret handshake, so that once you become a member of some kind of guild, the only way to enter that guild is by doing that emote. So it'd be like sort of like a key, right? So they've already done a lot of cool stuff with mud actions, which for those of you that don't know, it's like those text-based commands like / look around, and then the text will come back and say you look around and you notice that there's a slight breeze coming through the crack of the stone in front of you. And then you can do like / examine crack. So you examine the crack and you find that there's a key wedged between the rock, and then you just say, you know, grab or use key, and it says as you grab the key, the stone wall opens up and reveals blah blah blah, and then there's an animation where you actually see the wall opening. Like there's already stuff like that in game. Just to give you guys an idea of how little I know, I'll just say it like this. I don't think I've ever I only have one example of using the mud system so far, and that must have been like a year ago. I was playing like a bard, I think, and the bard starter quest had specific mud commands where it made you go down and find some kind of lanterns outside of the city, and then you had to examine the lanterns, and then you found like an item, and then you used that item to like summon something, right? I'm not going to give away any spoilers, and I could be completely off, but my point is that's like my only memory of it. I haven't tried any other ones. I haven't even looked. But I've heard so many stories of what is already out there, how many secrets there are in the world, and it's kind of crazy. Um, on my recent open test that we just did, one of the people I was grouping with, he actually took us to like a boss spawn, and he had to do some kind of ritual, and then yeah, it spawned the boss. But it's a lot of cool stuff, and I know so little, and I think watching Squats the Goblin video about the recent class changes and realizing how this whole time I've been enjoying the Archer and like praising for how much fun it is. That was me playing it with like 5 of my abilities missing because I didn't know they existed. So crazy stuff. Might as well do a quick audio check. Yukator, good to see you, brother. Yukator said, hey, I made it live. Indeed. Peace Dog says, Spellblade looks really good. Yeah, that got me excited, man. Peace Dog said, Spellblade looks really good. I agree. Looks really cool. Slash Smoke, wait, is that real? Hold on, are you serious? Slash Smoke. No freaking way. No freaking way. That's crazy. I'm assuming they're probably gonna add like pipes and stuff like that. That's crazy. Was gonna Jasukas said was gonna go monk, but maybe swap into an archer or ranger now. Yeah, it's gonna be cool, regardless of what you choose. Yeesh, that's extra hot. Peace Dog said, LOL. Jasuka said, do races / genders have different dances? Yeah, not right now, but ultimately, yeah. I'm not sure about like if male or females will have different dances. I'm assuming they'll do the juke and jive just the same, but you never know. But races, yeah, that's kind of the goal. Jasuka said, nice. I like that idea. Okay, I'm a little late to chat, so I'm assuming you were talking about the agreeing with the stuff I said earlier. Yukator said, first ranger quest in Faelindral has mud stuff right off the bat. Yeah, it might have been the ranger I'm thinking of. Peace Dog said, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm just, okay, so first things first. I need to run to my inn really quick. My little spot. Always gotta say hello to Doris. All right, give me a second. Alright, I'm back. Peace Dog said, I was going monk, but Spellblade caught my eye in open beta test last week. Yeah, I've been excited for the Spellblade. I think it's going to be really cool. Yukator said, monk is quite fun, can do a bunch of everything on them. Ranger seems similar to tank, DPS, pull, etc. Alright, where are we going? This way. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they're doing with the classes that makes me excited to try different things. I wanted to do the summoner. So what I really wanted to do, and this is like as fresh as today, I wanted to do a... What did I want to do? I wanted to do a... Oh gosh, what's the name of it? A goblin. I wanted to do a goblin summoner. You know, I logged in the other night. I only had maybe like 30 minutes. But I dimmed the lights, you know, turned off all the distractions. No streaming, no talking to anyone. And I went into the zone. And, I mean, they are crushing it with the ambience, man. Like, it still blows my mind how empty this zone was like 8 months ago. There was no NPCs. There was no items. Like, they had the platforms done, but like the houses and the foliage and all that stuff wasn't there. And even this is not final. Like, some of these are placeholder textures. Some of these textures might get, you know, fidelity upgrades down the road. But my point is, with the combination of like the lighting, the music, the sounds, I was like, man, you know, obviously I can bring comparisons and say it reminded me of Elwyn Forest from World of Warcraft, and it does. It reminds me of that scene from Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, when they go into Lothlorien for the first time. I can say that, but really it's just the intentional creating an atmosphere intentionally so that you can really get immersed. That's what I really appreciate about how they're building this game. And it's working. Yeah, you know, it's like when you can log in for 30 minutes so you can like check your bank, check your gear, do some crafting, and then just like stop for a second just to look around or hang out with somebody, talk to somebody. It kind of takes away that, you know, that guilt, you know, that you get sometimes when turning on a game. Like you're like, why am I doing this? Well, one reason could be just to relax, you know. So why are all my abilities gone? Oh, did everything just get wiped? Okay, this is gonna be exciting. Let's figure this out. Kuramorth said, hey y'all, can't stay but have fun and stay safe. Kuramorth, you as well, my legend. You have a great, safe, wonderful weekend, whatever you're doing. If you're getting some rest, get some rest, have a good night. And if you gotta be somewhere important, then get there safely and get home safely. Captain Vailric, he says, I do not want to talk to your kind. Archer instructor. Alright. Okay, I see what they... Okay, so here's what happened. So there was a wipe of the skills. So that's why everything is only 1 copper. So these are all the new skills. We're going to have to go through every single one and read about them and learn about them. Actually, let's buy them first, and then we're going to read through them one by one. What level are we? 14? Okay, let's keep going. Oh, Sniper's Blind. I like that name. Quick Shot 2. We'll buy that just because we're going to level up. Alright, cool. Now we have our spells, or abilities, I should say. Whoops. I think something's glitched over there. Oh, another archer. Yukator said, yeah, if it's the first time since they redid Archer, you will need to buy everything again. Okay, got it. Thanks. But even before this patch, I'm telling you, I watched Squats' video, and maybe he was like referring to the recent changes. But I could have sworn he mentioned a couple of things that, hey, you know, just like you could do this last time. And I'm like, what do you mean last time? There was a last time? What the heck? Okay. So I already have salvage arrows. Isn't this the same thing? Yeah, it looks exactly the same. Here, let me see if... Okay, got it. We're going to read through each one once we get it. Just trying to keep the same order. Level 6, level 7, 7, 8. No, okay, perfect. Whoops. Level 11. Level 10. Alright, I'll almost mix these up. Yukator said, just noticed Faiths hasn't been added to the character window. Doesn't look like you can click on it yet. Interesting. Faiths. Yeah, they did say that they were going to do something with religion. Acquired level 12. Acquired level 14. Wait, what? Alright, I think that's everything except for Quick Shot 2, which we don't get to level 15. Okay. Zukin Sculpts said howdy. Hello, Zukin Sculpts. What an interesting name. Nice to meet you, sir. First time here? I'm just kidding. What's up, bro? How you been? Yukator said, hey, Zukin. Alright. You know what? It's a lot hotter in here today. Yeah, I spent all that money upgrading my PC. And it's still running at 55 Celsius, and it feels like a little heater next to me. Give me 2 seconds, actually. Let's see if we can fix this. Zukin said, first time here, yeah, cool game, what is this? It's a long story, but like I said in the intro, it's a classically inspired MMORPG. It's currently being developed by a group of, what's that term people use in the country? Like, a bunch of roughneck whippersnappers, right? So, hogtied bunch of fellers that, you know, put some elbow grease. Anyways, point is, it's a indie development team of essentially all volunteers on a project that's completely self-funded. So no GoFundMe, no donations. Basically just, hey, wouldn't it be cool to make a cool game with the boys? And that's what they've been doing. Started off with 2 to 3 people just talking about it on Twitch, and then one day they're like, all right, let's just open up Unity and see if we can do this. And then once they had the proof of concept and kind of the idea of what they wanted to accomplish, more and more people from the community started getting involved and being like, hey, this is a cool project. I have a background in IT, or I have a background in design, or I have a background in lore writing. I don't know if that's a thing, but English language. There you go. Can I join your project? And they would bring people on. And yeah, after hundreds of hours and blood, sweat, and tears, with 0 funding and maintaining their day jobs and families and all their normal responsibilities, this is what they've come up with. So it's currently in closed beta, but you can check it out at monstersandmemories.com, which has links to like their Discord, their Twitches, and all this other stuff. So Zukin, it was really hard for me to keep with straight face saying that just now, so you know, I gotta get some credit. Zukin, for anyone that doesn't know, he's one of the he's one of the artists for Monsters and Memories. So like everything that you see in the textures here is all done hand painted by him and some other people, because the art style is basically like a painted art style, right? So it's like what I like to call it is like high definition, low poly. So it's like you take the low poly limitation, but then you use ridiculously high textures, so you can achieve stuff like whatever this guy's wearing. Is he just wearing, oh my gosh, I literally thought that he wrapped himself in rope and that was his skin and that was just rope. I'm like, dude, that's I don't know what the name of that is, like BDSM or something, but no, it's just the color of his robe. So yeah, Like all this stuff is hand painted. It's crazy. It's crazy how good it looks, or how good it's becoming. So all of that, all of those like reflections are painted, and yeah, it's really cool. Viridian said, my man doing the stanky leg. Yeah, that dance was the stanky leg. Yukator said, Zukin wouldn't know anything about that. No, you wouldn't. All right, what were we even doing? Oh yeah, we were looking at the spells. We're gonna go to the end so I can get my rested buff. No. You know, one day I'm gonna be a regular person and do this kind of stuff when it's not midnight. It's technically 1 now. All right. I'm gonna chill out and let's take a look at our new abilities. Okay, yeah, I should be able to fit all of them. Piercing shot. Okay. We should have everything though. Alright, point blank 1. Fire a point blank shot at your target, dealing 80% weapon ratio damage plus 1 to 3 by level 9 physical damage. This ability requires a bow and arrows. This ability shares a cooldown with other magic abilities. Alright, so I have point blank 1 and point blank 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one here. Wait, what? Oh, okay. There it is. This is fire point blank shot at your target, doing 90% weapon ratio damage, 6 plus 9. Okay, got it. Give me a second. I gotta go tell one of the kiddos, why are you awake? Get back in bed. I'm back. Grumpy Papa Bear, Class&Cool, had to tell his little bundles of joy that it's way past their bedtime. Alright. It's alright though, they were doing a sleepover, so. Alright, back to Point Blank 1 and Point Blank 2. So this is level 1, this is level 10. So we're gonna go ahead and we can move on to the next one. Viridian said, I'm going to start a petition for archers to get an ability called Starfish Shot. Can only be used behind the enemy, delivering a critical hit to your target's butthole. Okay, Viridian. Zokin said, best of luck with your petition. Viridian said, heart emoji. Viridian said, I may be a little intoxicated, but it's still a great idea. Brother, whatever you're drinking, brother, cheers. That's some good coffee. For any of you guys wondering, I'm always with my coffee cup. I drink hot black coffee, and it's a very black, and I use the cappuccino coffee that comes in those yellow bags at Aldi. So it's not even like high grade coffee. It's the good cappuccino. It's literally the coffee that has the most caffeine in it. So rip my heart. Next, salvage arrows. Search the corpses around you, looking for arrows. It's a martial ability. Cast time 3 seconds. Does not trigger global cooldown. Blah blah blah. I'm glad that they put this and made this available at a low level. I think this is smart. I think I agree with Squats that this may be something that needs work, but I'm going to reserve my thoughts until I try it, because what he said is that it's a little bit odd using it, because if you have all your ability bars filled out and you're grouping or battling, and then you need to open up an ability slot just to salvage arrows, and then it has a 3-second cast time. It seems out of place or inconvenient to do that. But then again, I don't have a solution of what the alternative to that would be without putting some thought into it. So I'm going to refrain from giving my 2 cents, but cool. Either way, super, super good that it's available at a lower level. Especially when you're just starting out. Every arrow is super expensive. Being able to salvage some of your arrows is pretty cool. Maybe if I were to think off the top of my head, if salvage arrows was more of a skill. So what I mean by skill is, where's my skill list? Crap. Oh, I see it. It's hidden behind all these. So, and this is just me spitballing, but maybe if it's like a skill that you level up. So for example, like let's say you get dodge at level 5 and you have to level it up as you play. Maybe if salvage arrows becomes a skill and then you have to level it up by doing some kind of command, kind of like how forage is a skill, right? And forage, you have to use it in order to level it up. And if you don't use it frequently, you can't level it up. Well, what if salvage arrows is also a skill, and the only way you level it up is by using it? And every time you use it, it's either successful or unsuccessful. And when it's successful, there's an RNG of how many arrows. Like if you did 10 shots, maybe there's an equation where it says a successful roll will get you 20% of your arrows back, or 1%, or 0%, or 80%, you know. Again, just a thought, but my first thought is salvage arrows. Well, what about all these other abilities I want to memorize? If I have to salvage arrows just by doing this, then I might as well just skip it. So we're going to skip it for now, but still really cool to see that. Barbed arrow 1. Okay, so if there's barbed arrow 1, I'm assuming there's a barbed arrow 2. So yes, there is. So let's just read what barbed arrow 2 says. Fire a barbed arrow at your targets, dealing 50% weapon ratio damage plus 8 bleed damage every 6 seconds for 18 seconds. So it's a dot, so that's dope. This ability requires a bow. This ability has blah blah blah. So let's go ahead and memorize barbed arrow. Q. All right, it's memorized. Let's move on to the next one, disengagement. This is my favorite skill in theory. In practice, it doesn't always work the way I want it to. But basically what disengagement does, I'll read it. Launch yourself away from your target, decreasing your threat against them by 150%. So I didn't know that part. I didn't know that it reduces your threat level. You know, threat, for those that don't know, is aggro. So you know, in classic MMOs, if you hit NPCs too many times, you pull aggro from them, right? And depending on what kind of class you are, maybe you don't want the aggro. Maybe you want your fighter or your tank or your warrior or your paladin to be taking all the aggro. I did not know it decreases threat. I think that's super cool. But what I liked about it is that it physically launches you away. So the way I've been using it is, let's say I don't have a speed buff like so. I will snare. I usually hit him with my most damaging shot first. Then I do like a dot. And then when they get close, I use disengagement to launch me away. And then I use a snaring shot to slow them down, and then I kite them for a little bit. Now there's a way better way of doing that, but as I'm experimenting, I'm just letting you know kind of what I've done in the past. So there you go, disengagement. I hope to see more movement buffs like that, because that would really pull from the fantasy of like being like that Legolas dude, where he's like kind of moving around and dodging, and you know, where he doesn't want to get hit as much. So you got to have some mobility, right? So that would be cool to see more of this kind of stuff. So let's move on. Let's see, we got 10 slots, 4, 8. We're gonna skip on disengagement for now. All right, skirmisher. Adopt the role of a skirmisher, increasing your movement speed by 5%, reducing the cooldown. Adopt the role of a skirmisher, increasing your movement speed by 5%, reducing the cooldown of strafing barrage by 20%, and reducing the cast time of all abilities by 20%. This ability persists until cancelled. Okay, so that's this right here. So this is actually really cool. So you basically get a movement buff automatically. Like, it's not something you need to cast. So that's super cool. Okay, so let's keep that enabled. What's sniper's blind? I don't even know. All right, quick shot 1. Fire quick shot at your target, dealing 100% weapon ratio damage plus 1 to 10 physical damage. So it's just a quick shot, and it's quick shot 1. And I don't see a quick shot 2, so let's memorize that. Pretty straightforward. Net shot. Fire a net shot at your target, interrupting their casting, knocking them back, and immobilizing them for 6 seconds. So I think net shot is what replaced pin shot. I liked pin shot. What pin shot would do is it would pin your target against like a wall, for example, temporarily. And the reason it was cool is because when you were like in a dungeon, right? Because most of the time when you're hunting solo, especially, you're kiting around, so you're not going to use pin shot in an open field, because you need to be next to a wall to actually pin your NPC to said wall, right? But where it did come in handy is when you went into close quarters, and let's say you pull a mob and he's coming from you know, a hallway. If you shoot him with pin shot, then he'd get stuck to that wall, and I would physically like push him back, and then he would be rooted there for several moments. And it kind of gives you time to position yourself and help your group decide on where they're going to focus, you know, all their damage, etc. So this is basically the equivalent of that, but instead it works like a net instead of like a pinning shot, so you can use it out in the open. So it's probably better, but you know, I'm okay with either skill. So this ability has a chance to be removed by damage. This ability has a very strong chance to end early. This ability requires a bow and a net arrow. Okay, so that's interesting. So I might need to do some tinkering just to get this to work. Fire off a flare. Whoops. Viridian said, Peace Dog said, go AFK for just a minute and miss some spicy chat, lol. Seriously. Cheers, Viridian. Fire off a flare, granting you a temporary light source and revealing invisible entities. Oh, wow. So you can see invis, basically. So fire off a flare, granting you temporary light source. That's really cool. That's really cool. I mean, the whole see invis thing, I mean, this flare was renamed. I think it was called something else. But I didn't know that it can reveal invisible things. There's plenty of mobs in the world that I'm familiar with, especially at nighttime, where there's like humanoids walking around during the daytime, but at night there's like literal ghosts that come out. So this is really cool that you can do that. It probably would be cool to use in PvP too. Especially if like there's a rogue sneaking around or somebody running around or AFK in Viz, so you can gank them. Cool. Snaring shot. Oh, probably the most important one. Fire a snaring shot at your target, reducing their movement speed by 50% for 6 seconds. That makes me sad. You know, I understand why it's only 6 seconds. But I would understand it more if it didn't have a cooldown of 30 seconds. I get what they're trying to do, and there's probably a lot of good balancing reasons, and they've put dozens of hours of thinking about it. And what other players probably do is they probably do snaring shot and caltrops, and then, you know, it's basically like a combination, a rotation of abilities. But it does feel for like the sandwich eater like myself, if I want to just log in and hit him with a snare, you know, it lasts for maybe like a minute and a half, but has a chance of breaking sooner. You know, kind of like the classic snare. But I get it. This is not a casting class. This is not a ranger, not a druid. You know, and just because it has the word snaring or snare in it doesn't mean it's what you're used to. So again, I'm cool with that, but 6 seconds seems very short. 30 seconds looks very long, but we'll find out when we test it. So that's probably going to be our most common ability, so we'll put that there. Interrupting shot. Okay, if this is what I think it is, I love this, because when I'm in groups, one of the things I've really enjoyed about the archer is, so I really like being like the hero of the group, whether I'm healing, whether I'm just pulling. So I love being like puller stuff. So I was pulling all the mobs, and I was debuffing them with one of my arrows, snaring them, and then doing some other cool stuff. But most importantly is that once we were in the battle and my tank took away all the aggro, what I would do is I would plink the mobs, but I would pay close attention to whenever the caster would start casting, meaning the other, you know, the enemy caster. And as soon as I noticed that the caster was casting, I would shoot my interrupting shot, or whatever it was called back then, to interrupt the casting. And I gotta say, like, it feels so good because, you know, you're out in the distance. Nobody even knows the benefit that you're bringing to the group, and you're low-key just putting in so much work to keep that group alive. And it just like, yeah, it just feels good. It's like the unsung hero. Interrupting shot. Fire a sudden shot at your target, interrupting their casting and preventing them from casting spells from the same school of magic for 3 seconds. Yeah, that's cool. We are going to put that here. Okay. Strafing Barrage 1. Barrage your targets with arrows, dealing 100% weapon ratio damage 4 times. 104 times. So plank, 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 plank. This ability can be used while moving. Nice. This ability is channeled. Interesting. This ability requires bow and arrows. Okay. I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Let's put this one in the middle. Interrupting from distance is cool, Zukin said. I played some Archer in the last open test and was using interrupting shot and pinning shot to stop cast. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly why I liked pinning shot, because I was rotating between pinning shot and interrupting shot, and it makes such a huge difference to the group. Like, especially when the NPC is trying to pull off a heal at the last minute and you're like, nope, denied. Or they cast fear, you know, and you don't want your tank to get feared and then run off into a whole bunch of mobs, so you interrupt that. Like, there's just and on top of that, there was a debuff shot. So again, like I said, when I would pull them, I would debuff them, you know, and then when they running up, when we would pull them back to the group, they would try to either buff themselves, heal themselves, or they would try to fear us, and I would just interrupt every single one. So it was really cool. Piercing shot. Fire a piercing shot at your target, dealing 125% weapon ratio damage plus 12 to 15 physical damage, and reducing incoming healing effects for 50 seconds, by 50% for 30 seconds. Additionally, if your target is below 20% health, this ability rolls its damage twice. This is pretty good. This is a very good finishing shot, especially for either casters or NPCs that are about to get healed. One of the most annoying things is when you're about to win a fight and then the NPC gets healed. So this is actually goes into the example I just gave with interrupting shot. Being able to get an NPC that has low health, because that's typically when they start healing themselves. You hit them with a piercing shot. So if they're below 20% health, this ability will have even more effect. So I like that. We were going to put this over here because we're going to use it towards the end of the battles. Okay. We got 2 more to go. We're almost done. Really quick. Just gotta get a change of scenery real quick. Okay. Exposing shot. Fire an exposing shot at your target, decreasing their defense by 5 and increasing their physical damage received by 5 for 1 minute. This ability requires a bow and arrow. Okay. And then last but not least, caltrops. Scatter caltrops around your target, decreasing their movement speed of targets within the affected area by 45 seconds and dealing 1 to 20 damage for 3 seconds. This ability requires cooldown with trap abilities, subterfuge ability, innate. Cooldown is 60 seconds. I don't know how I feel about that. And I get it. I get it. Maybe, again, I haven't put enough thought into it, but I'm assuming if archers had just like a permanent snare ability that you didn't have to rotate, it would probably make them just too OP. So it just makes me think, you know, but we're going to try it. It just, again, as a archer, I want to be able to use my abilities as much as possible to stay away. You know what I mean? Like, I still do decent damage depending on the type of weapon you have. Like, I have some really good weapons right now that I worked hard for. but yeah. So anyways, let's keep going. One thing I didn't notice is where's oil trap? I thought we get oil trap. Okay, we'll figure it out. Exposing shot and caltrop. So we got caltrops. The only thing I didn't do is exposing shot. And I'm out of space, so I need to think about if I even want to do this. I mean, honestly, I would remove flare and I would just use exposing shot. So this would be like my debuff. So give me a sec. All right, we're back. Oh, you know what? That guy has a quiver. How do I get a quiver? How do I get a quiver? Hold on, let me find that dude. Where'd he go? I see him. He's right there. Let's catch him. No, my freaking UI just glitched. Oh my gosh. Tell guilt arg. My UI glitched. Okay. There it is. How do you make the quiver appear? Yeah, I need to report a bug for this because this is a quite an annoying glitch where so I'm one of those like players that turns off the UI like a lot, and this only started happening during the open playtest. But basically, and I think it only happened once, so it's not like a big deal, it's just annoying. You hit F10, your UI goes away, and then it doesn't come back, and then you have to restart the whole game, and you're like, what the heck? But like I said, it only happened once. And see, I can't get it back. Alright, we're gonna have to restart. There's nothing we can do. That's hot. I had some good Mexican food today. I ordered dinner for everyone. And from this Mexican restaurant. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I don't like to waste money on eating out, but once in a while I'll get lazy and I won't want to cook dinner. And today was one of those days. So like I splurged big time. It was really, really good. Really good. J. Michael said doubly annoying when streaming. Yeah. You know, I've been putting some thought into this whole streaming thing. And I had to like basically talk myself. How do I say this? Because I also don't want to say it the wrong way. Basically, I had to like kind of convince myself that this is still something I want to do. And the reason is like I like the process of streaming because I like video editing, I like music design, I like graphics design. Like these are all things that I enjoy doing. Like I've been using Photoshop since I was like 9 years old. I've been using video editors since I was 9 years old. I've been using programming software, coding languages, music development, engineering, design since I was a kid. These are things I enjoy doing, right? So for me, making YouTube videos was the goal, and then it evolved into streaming because the workflow was faster. Because instead of sitting there editing videos for 12 hours, I can sit there, like you guys, some of you guys need to, if you guys have a YouTuber that you follow, like Squats or Slayheim, it's important to realize that the videos that you see that they pop out with, and they seem to come out like every other day or once a week, that one video may have taken them 8 hours to work on. For 8 hours of editing, 2 hours of exporting, another 2 hours of uploading and making sure YouTube like lets the highest resolution get transferred onto their platform. It's like a full-time job, and they're doing it for the love of the game. And I had to basically have a talk with myself and be like, all right, so why are we doing this? Okay, we're doing this to chill, to document our little fun experiences. We're not doing this for people. We're not doing for because that's the truth. The truth is, this is a selfish, what do you call it? I'm streaming for very selfish reasons, and I need to always keep it that way. I can't make this about you guys, no offense. I can't make it about money. I can't make it about anyone else, because the reason I'm doing this is to have fun, relax, and the second this starts feeling like a job or like something I don't want to do or something I feel like I have to do, then it's like, okay, then we're done, right? I'm not talking to you, Alexa. Go to sleep. Stop talking to me. Anyways, I think he's spying on me, and he thinks I'm having a midlife crisis or something, which wouldn't be too wrong, but no, yeah, so definitely, J. Michaels, you're right about doubly annoying when streaming, you know, the UI turning off. But the good news, and I said all that to say, like, I kind of don't care, right? Because as much as I love to be a perfectionist with these things, I gotta make sure I'm doing this for fun. You know, like some nights I'm super tired, and then I'll be like apologizing and saying, hey guys, you know, was it late night? It's like, okay, first of all, who cares? And I don't need to apologize to anyone. You know, no one's being forced to watch this, right? Anyone that's here is organically, without this content wasn't advertised to you, it wasn't pushed to you, it wasn't, you know, I'm not building my social media presence so people can find me. I'm actively taking steps to make it hard for people to find me, and make it difficult for people to discover me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't go on Discord, and, you know, every Discord has like a section where you can post your creations. Like, I'll use Eminem or EQ Legends as an example. Like, you go and it says content creators, and there's a section where either you can share somebody else's video or you can share your video to basically get it out there to the masses. And like, I intentionally don't do that because I kind of don't want people to find my content, because the content was never created for them, you know. So if I'm actually doing that, then I shouldn't be surprised if I start attracting the wrong people. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just, this is a very, very fun thing. I really enjoy doing this. I want to continue doing it. So I just needed to have that like little come to Jesus moment where I was like, just let's stay grounded of why we're doing this. I shouldn't be getting stressed out. I shouldn't be getting annoyed. I shouldn't be getting like irritated when something goes wrong, because I mean, flat out, we're doing this to relax and just to have fun. And one day maybe come back and rewatch these VODs 10 years down the road and be like, yo, and by the way, I'm already doing this. I'm going back to my old VODs from 2 years ago, just so I can see how far Monsters and Memories has come as a game. And and also I watch these VODs sometimes to fall asleep. So instead of watching like some kind of stupid brain rot at 2 in the morning because I can't sleep, I'll turn on this crap and I'll put myself to sleep. So GOP T5K, would be sad to lose you. Nah, I'm not going anywhere, man. I'm not losing it. I mean, and that's the other thing. You see, like, if I go out there and I try to build a community, you know, I mean, I'm not done yet when it comes to like a lot of my goals and stuff. And what if my next job just doesn't permit me to have social media presence, you know, because I'm like a secret agent for, you know, the CIA, you know. and they make me take down all my existing content. Like, you never know, but you know, yeah, you got to get that top secret security clearance somehow. I'm actually very envious of people that have YouTube channels and they are completely no face, because there's a level of accountability that you get to avoid when you don't have to show your face. That's one thing I learned about streaming, is I didn't expect it to be a big deal, but when you really think about it, it's like it's a big deal, you know, because it's like you're putting yourself out there on so many levels. You're putting yourself out there physically, you're putting yourself out there emotionally, mentally. You know, you're you're making yourself available and open to hundreds, maybe thousands of complete strangers. There's definitely something very weird about that, and you know, sometimes just that alone makes me question whether or not this is a good idea. But the one thing that keeps me kind of grounded is you guys, because I don't have those kind of like I don't have those kind of issues. Like each and every one of you, every single one of you, not one, not two, literally every single one of you have introduced yourselves as like stand-up people that are worth talking to. You know what I mean? So like, for example, Jay Michaels, you have been around for quite a bit. You always have something interesting to say. Um, you have a very chill vibe about you. And I feel comfortable, like the same way you'd meet an internet friend through a game and you casually chat with them, you know, through Steam or something like that. Like you wouldn't give your social security number away, but you're like, okay, that's my boy. You know what I mean? You know, Zukin, obviously you're uh, I'll give you another example. Where'd he go? Oh, now I feel dumb. Oh, no, that was a different day. But anyways, so yeah, I'm fortunate enough that there's chill people and I don't have to kind of deal with trolls or idiots or all that other stuff. So you guys make it easy. If I had a bunch of people coming in here and I was constantly like having debates with them, or they were trolling me and I was doing that, then it would be a different story. And the only trolls I do get, they usually come into the chat, and you guys never even get to see them because I ban them on the spot. I get a notification on my phone. I was like, "Oh, are you saying something constructive? No, you're a complainer. Okay, banned." It's like, oh, but then don't you want to hear him out? It's like, no. Why would I want to hear somebody else out? For what? They're not going to teach me anything. I'm not going to learn. They just want to disagree for the sake of disagreeing. Like, I've been married for 15 years. You really think I got time for that? A grown man disagreeing with me just for the sake of disagreeing. I got a wife for that, bro. I don't need another female in my life, especially if it's a dude acting like a female. All right. So we're good. I think we can go off into our little adventure now. Sniper is blind. Conceal your position, rendering you virtually undetectable. Additionally, your quick shot deals increased damage while concealed by sniper's blind. Hold up, this is kind of cool. So this is almost like how rogues have sneak and then they can like backstab. So conceal your position, rendering you virtually undetectable. Additionally, your quick shot deals increased damage while concealed by sniper's blind. This ability is removed by movement. Oh ho ho, bro, that's cool. The cooldown is 30 seconds. Okay. Jay Michael said, I think that's your charm. There are a lot of people out there that are streaming for the ego. Yeah, man. I've said this before, but I don't really watch streamers. The only time I started watching streamers um is like the Monsters and Memories team. I think the only other streamer I've actually watched was I wanted to go see what all the hype and hate was about that dude Asmongold, because I swear to you, I didn't know who the heck this dude was, but I like started hearing about him and like how he's like a degenerate and how he's disgusting and how he's like Satan himself and all this stuff. I'm like, well, how in the world does this dude have like 50,000 people watching him and he's all these bad things? So like I watched him once, I was like, yeah, this guy is disgusting. He's such an idiot. I watched him twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then I was just like, okay, I understand. I understand why people watch him. This is entertaining. Um, but yeah, besides that, like I never understood the appeal of streaming, and then I kind of got it that like it's that interaction, it's chatting back and forth, it's the person communicating with the chat and doing all that stuff. um but that's not kind of what I'm trying to cultivate here. Like, I'm not trying to um build an audience. It's more of just like you guys just happen to show up, basically, right? And I'm talking to you guys because that's what normal human interactions do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you were waiting at Starbucks or something like that for your coffee and somebody like sparked a conversation with you, you'd probably just start chatting back, you know what I mean? um unless you were like really not in the mood to talk to anyone, which I understand. But the idea here is, I'm obviously going to chat back, but like there's no planned agenda or anything like that. So I guess that's the one. And the only reason why there is like a decent amount of production value that goes into these videos, like the camera quality, the video quality, and everything else, is because I'm scratching that designer itch. I'm getting to enjoy the enjoy the process of making these videos. All right, so I do have one question, and I'm just thinking out loud. But whatever happened to that one of the skills that you used to get? There was an oil trap, and then when you shoot the oil trap, or no, you lay the oil trap down, and then you cast this flaming thing on them, and it causes them to catch on fire. Is that no longer a thing? Uh, he changed. Peace Dog said he changed. He used to be just be a disgusting neckbeard, but he had some charm. Then he started preaching hate. J. Michaels, we inhabit the same tiny corner of the web. We found one of those great tucked away campsites. I think great tucked away campsites. Yeah. All right. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Okay. Oh, okay. Cool. So, okay. So you do not have the necessary reagents to use this ability. You require pitch wrapped arrow. Well, that's too bad. So I really do need to focus on my tinkering now. Skibbity bop. Alright. Barbed arrow. Dang it. I'm actually gonna have to put some thought into this. I wasn't signing up for that today, but that's okay. We're gonna try. Let me see. Point blank. You need a target to use that, but well, how about myself? Okay. All right, we're gonna go back to the archer right now, and I'm gonna figure out how to do the tinkering stuff. It's kind of a lot. Oh, I forgot to share this. Look. Ta-da! They have a modern UI editor now with different controls to save, load, export. They have a UI folder, show the grid, snap to grid. This is really cool. So let me see here. So 64, 60. Yeah, I'd probably do it like that. Then you can snap it in place. Anyways, kudos to whoever designed that. That's freaking awesome. I love like little quality of life stuff like that makes a huge difference. All right. So if I'm going to be a tinkerer, okay, there's a glitch right there. Fletcher. That's fletching kit. Oh yeah. I wanted to know how can I see my quiver? Small back quiver, 10 silver. Range haste plus 10. Capacity 12. Alright, let's just buy that. Why not? Oh yeah, cool. Smoke bomb, arrow, pitch arrow, net arrow. You can't change starting bonus stats and major minor trait, right? Sakagami Mai said you can't change starting bonus stats and major/minor trait, right? I don't believe so. I think if like, for example, if you're in the beta or closed beta and you're testing stuff and they happen to do like a massive change, then yeah, I think in that case it would be better just to start the character from scratch so you can test all those abilities over again with the new balance, you know. I was gonna do that today actually, but I wanted a goblin summoner, but there's no such thing as a goblin summoner. It would have been cool. All right, so let's see. Large back quiver. Weighs 1 pound, extra large. Why would I want that? Just because it's more expensive, or? So this one's 25 silver. Oh, okay. So it goes in the backpack slot. Got it. And that's my backpack slot. Shoot. Well, that sucks. So trainee's hip quiver is right there. So besides aesthetics, what's the benefit? Why would I give up my backpack slot for a quiver besides good looks? Screw it, we're gonna buy it anyways. Because maybe I'm missing something. Maybe you can put other items in there, I don't know. So let's do that. Pretty pricey thing to test, but gotta test it anyways. Yeah, there's no way if I want to replace my cloth backpack. That's where I put all my loot. Yeah, so this can only go here. And let me see. I don't see my quiver. Where's my quiver at? Settings, graphics, show all. There it is. Yeah. That looks dope. Yeah, that might be worth it. I think I might have went down a similar rabbit hole with Asmongold. The first video I saw with him putting his guildmates against each other when I thought it was a little cruel, but then realized that's his dry sense of humor, which I've come to enjoy. Unfortunately, doesn't seem to get these kinds of games, but he often has good down-to-earth takes on things. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's unfortunate, but somebody like him, I probably wouldn't publicly talk about him because he's a very divisive not himself, but it's a divisive conversation because you can't, like, I don't like bandwagons. So like when somebody tells me something is really, really bad, my immediate thing is, oh really, I believe you. My immediate thing is, oh wow, maybe I should check this out for myself. If something so bad exists, then I need to investigate if I'm actually interested, or I just say, oh, I don't care, I don't know who you're talking about. And so it's kind of hard to have a conversation or an opinion about somebody that you haven't really seen, right? So I try to avoid bringing up his name, right, ever, because if you say it to a random person, it might trigger them and might get defensive. It's like, whoa. Are we talking about the same person? It's like, yeah. But you don't know whether or not this person has actually listened to what he has to say or whether or not they're just going off of like some kind of public opinion, you know? So, but yeah, I've heard him say some funny things and some common sense things. And then other things, it's just like, all right, well, that was extreme, but at least he's honest. You got to respect the honesty. But yeah, I mean, I didn't mean to bring it up, but at the end of the day, you know, that he's a good conversation starter, but sometimes the conversation can go in the wrong direction. So it's better to just be like, next topic. So what do I do, guys? So am I screwed? Can I not use? Yeah. See, I can't justify that. It's a large backpack quiver. It takes up an entire backpack slot. It looks hella cool. I love it. But I don't want to part ways with my backpack. That's just too much. And the thing is, I don't get like any additional range haste benefit. So this is 10 haste. This is 10 haste. So what am I gaining besides the aesthetics? I'm kind of sad about this. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't do it. Tell you what, I will do this. I will wear it for the rest of the stream. So we can do some archer mogging. Some archer maxing. Because we want to look cool. That just feels so wrong. I'm sorry. Now, I'm sorry. It feels so wrong. I'm such a stickler for inventory space. And I spend a lot of money on my bags. So we are going to go back to wearing this. Yeah. But at least we know how to equip a quiver now. That makes a lot of sense. Let me see. Is my bag? Yeah, baby. There you go. Oof. That looks so much better. RP maxing. JOP said, yep. All right. Let me turn my backpack off. I'm actually really surprised that they did this, the hide backpack, because you know, Sean would say stuff like he's really big about like keeping it authentic and all this other stuff. And it was like one of the first things they implemented. And I was shocked because I thought he was going to force us to like, oh, you want extra storage on your back? Well, the backpack image stays. Can you turn it off? Absolutely not. You wanna looks max? You're gonna have to either take the backpack off or not wear one. But I just want to see my cloak. I just want to look good, and without the backpack. Sorry, not gonna let you have it. I'm joking. I'm imitating Sean, and he's not like that. But it would be funny if he was like that, and he was actually not gonna let us turn that feature off or add that feature to turn it off. So, anyways, pleasant surprise. I can think of at least one person that if this feature was not in the game, they would literally not play. They would be like, all right, I'm done. Sorry. I can't turn off the backpack. I don't want to play. I mean, some people are like that. So, Sakagami, aren't you the guy that asked about the Paladin last time? Your name looked very familiar. You can't change starting bonus. That's Ryzen. Yeah, it's a shame because virtually all public figures are talk about these days because everyone is so opinionated. Oh, tell me about it. And the thing is, it's hard for people to have an opinion of their own. So, my solution in life is just don't talk to people. Find a dog and pet a dog. Rub his belly. Or get a cat. Cats are super chill. They never talk. Unless they're hungry. They just chill. They don't talk. They don't say a word. It's so nice. Poacher's arrow. I had to wear Sakagami said I had to wear Crown of Frog King back in EQ Classics because I hate how plate helms look. That's a very good point. I remember doing something similar to that. Sakagami said, yes, I was asking about Paladin. Yeah, I couldn't forget your name. That's a great name. Reminds me of like a Japanese samurai. Ooh, I love cats. Dude, I'm not a pet person. Like, I'm the opposite of, I'm not a pet lover, I'm a pet hater. I find them annoying, stinky, money pits that are a complete waste of time. Before I got a pet, I was just like, why would I inherit a responsibility to take care of this furball that is going to eat my food, poop on my carpet, stink up my house, and expect me to take care of them, and they can't even go out and get a job. Until one day, my kids and my wife brought home a kitten. And I was like, what the heck did you guys just do? Because like they were like y'all excited and all this stuff, and I was just being a grump. Like, why would you do this? Like, you're bringing a living creature into the house. Who's gonna take care of it? And of course, they didn't take care of it. I had to set up the litter box. I had to clean up its poop and its pee and all this stuff and train it and feed it. Tell me why, after the first like month of moaning and groaning, I couldn't live out without that cat. I was obsessed over the cat. I was hanging out with the cat. I was sleeping with the cat. I was feeding the cat. I was playing with the cat. Like, it turned me 180 degrees in the other direction. And so that was first I got my first cat. And then after that, I got a husky. And mind you, I'm in Florida, so maybe a husky wasn't the best option. But I mean, there's going to be huskies in Florida regardless. So you might as well, if you're going to get a husky, you're going to take care of them. The cat, she's not with us anymore, and the dog's not with us anymore. We do have one cat right now. He's still with us. But Lily, she ran away after a hurricane, and I don't think she like intentionally ran away. I think she went outside and got confused because our fence had fallen over, and then she got like disoriented because after the hurricane there was like a lot of fallen trees and stuff. So I looked for her for months, but she never came back. And then the husky, we had to find him a new home due to some medical conditions for my significant other. So all the focus and time and effort went into that person's recovery. So I got to a point where I just felt bad. I felt bad for the dog because he's a husky. He needs daily exercise, daily, not just walks. You need to take him like on excursions. They're adventurers. They love to meet other dogs. They love to go on runs. They're not like, what's that dog zapper dude? There's a dude that sits streams and like zaps his dog for a living. I don't know, but like you know, and this goes for any dog. Like dogs aren't supposed to just be like ornaments that you like sit down and you lay there all day. Like they need to spend time outside, you know. And they're social. They love meeting other dogs. And Max, the husky, he was a great dog. And when I realized the predicament that I was in, I was like, the only ethical, the only good, the only decent thing to do is to give this dog a better life. So I spent about 2 months interviewing people, and there was people I just said like they were interested, and I was like, oh, you know what, thank you for your consideration, but you're a gump. I'm not gonna let you adopt my dog. I finally found a lady. She was she was like a formerly married lady, so she was widowed. She lived by herself. She had an enormous property. She had 2 existing huskies, and she sent me pictures of how her huskies live and how they play. And I was like, and because huskies are like pack animals, so like it literally couldn't be a better fit. And she was actually so good that, because like for me it was like really difficult to part ways with Max. Everyone else kind of like, you know, their kids, they get sad, but it wasn't the same as what it was for me. For me, it's like I built a relationship with this dog, an understanding with this dog, trained it from when it was a puppy. Again, not a pet animal, right? But I became one. And I never in my life did I think you can get an emotional bond with an animal the way you can, that I did. So and now I understand, as weird as it sounds, like some people, oh, those are my kids. It's like, no, that's an animal. It's not a kid. Stop calling it a kid. But I understand why they say it. You know what I mean? Like, it's still kind of weird to compare it to a human because it's not the same thing. But I get it. It's like a good way of, you know, bridging that gap and explaining how close that relationship could be. So anyways, it was really hard, but I finally found the right family, and I had visitation, and yeah, he's in a great, happy place. I just hope Lily is, you know, because we have coyotes, and honestly, when after the first month of Lily being gone, I was like praying that she was okay, that like hopefully somebody found her and adopted her or put her somewhere safe, because my biggest worry was that the coyotes got her. So there's a lot of coyotes where I live. I was actually so convinced that that's what happened. I was gonna take my rifle and go after the coyotes that live in my backyard. I was really pissed. But then I realized it would be a cruel thing to do. Unless the coyote comes on my property, I have no right to go, you know, hunting them, for an assumption, basically. Now, if I did find like a den or something, and then I found Lily there, yeah, I gotta watch what words I say on YouTube, but I would come after every single one of those coyotes in a heartbeat. It would be like that scene from Star Wars where Anakin like turns on the Jedi and he just starts going after everyone. It would be like that, only instead of Jedi, it would be coyotes. But yeah, again, that's just an assumption. I believe to this day that Lily is fine and she's in a better place with better people, and yeah. But Blackie's the cat I have right now, and he's really cool. We actually found him outside of my son's school. probably not going to go into the story right now, but we found him and raised him. It turns out he's something Siberian. What is it called? Siberian long hair cat name? Question mark. What's the name of the Siberian cat? What's the breed of the long hair Siberian cat? The official, Siberian forest cat. So I just think it's a little ironic, you know. I had Max, which was a husky. I had my Siberian forest cat, and my birth ethnicity just happens to be Russian. So it's like I'm attracting all these wild Eurasian animals into my home. Yeah, but Blackie, he's an outdoor cat through and through. He spends 99% of the time outside. But he's really cool. Sakagami said, sounds like the cat adopted you. Exactly. JOP said, visitation for the dog. LOL, I understand, but it's funny choice of words. It was an intentional choice of words. It's kind of like visitation for dads or for jail. That's the first thing I thought about, like visitation. JOP said the cat distribution system. Yeah. Peace dog. My precious blue dog in the pic died from cancer years ago, and I still miss her every day. Yeah, well, very beautiful. She's very beautiful. I always notice that picture whenever I see you, and no, man, like it's crazy. It really is crazy. Like there's something really interesting when you think about it, from a psychological perspective, how we as humans get so attached, you know, and how there's something so attractive, I guess, or powerful, or something about animals that even more so than humans sometimes, you know, because you can be remorseful for a human and stuff like that, and then you start to remember how annoying they were, and then you're just like, yeah, I miss them, but I miss them for all their good and not their bad. I guess just humans have such they have such an ability of cruelty. It's just so easy for them. It comes so naturally for the average human to just be cruel and annoying. And I'm not to be negative, but I mean, like, animals don't really do that, you know? So I can see why people enjoy the company of animals more than they do sometimes a human. Like, it's actually not weird. It actually makes sense. Because the dog's not going to talk back to you. The dog is not going to, you know, give her theory on whether or not the earth is flat. It's just, you feed them, you exercise with them, and then you chill. And the thing is, you can say whatever you want. You can tell your life story to the dog. You can vent to the dog. You can tell it that you have had a bad day, and not once will he or she respond and say, I don't care, or that's not important to me. I'd say dogs are pretty based. Well, yes, Peace Dog said cats too. I prefer cats over dogs. That's the conclusion I've come to. I'm more of a cat person because 90% of the time they ignore me, and I love that because I'm going to ignore them right back. I just don't... You know, I used to think I was an extrovert. I used to call myself an extrovert. I used to be energetic around people, and I still am. I still very much enjoy people, right? But I feel like the older I get, the more I like being alone. Like, there's something about being alone that is just Really nice. Now, I say that, but I probably forgot what it's like to be alone. Because I think if I didn't have kids and stuff like that, I'd probably say I'd be lonely. I don't know how much I would be saying all that if I was truly alone, you know? So I wouldn't have anything to compare it to, but still, it's nice to be alone to some degree. All right, let's try this. It's kind of dark, so we got to be a little careful. So we just used point blank shot. Okay. Now let's use caltrops. Quick shot. It's way too dark for this. So snaring shot, you can't shoot it up close. That's a problem. Yeah, so like I would think snaring shot, it would be nice if you can do it point blank. Because right now I have to create some distance before this thing if I want to snare it. Yeah, I can't even snare it. I need to. Maybe if I had Spirit of Wolf or Disengage or Spirit of Wild, whatever. Dude, it is hecka dark. Alright, we're gonna just keep on. Oh, piercing shot, I forgot about that. There's that piercing shot I was talking about. Big damage. Alright, let's get back to it. I need to start a fire if I'm going to do this. I'm actually going to camp right there for a bit. I think I have wood. Yeah, I do. Let's set up a campfire right here. You do not have the necessary... What? I have 7 wood. Wait, why can't I make a campfire, boys? What happened? I apologize. I'm behind on chat. I'll catch up in a minute. What do I not have to create a campfire? I have 7 logs of wood. Bro, seriously? Alright, I'm gonna go farm some more wood. They better not have added something where you have to have... Anyways, I'm sorry. Sounds like the cat adopted you, my precious blue. Having pets can be a lot of work. Some of the highest maintenance dogs out there. That's kind of how I got my first cat. Hey, huskies are extremely high energy. When I got my cat, daughter promised me she would. Yes, I was asking about the paladin. I had to work. Okay, I'm backing up because I skipped past a couple things. Sakagami said, "Yep, I was asking about a paladin. I have cats," and then that's when I went off on my little rant. JOP said, "When I got a cat, my daughter promised me she would take care of it." When I got my cat, a cat, my daughter promised me she would take care of it. And once we got home, she refused to do absolutely anything to help with it. Hated it. Wow. Peace dog. Yeah, huskies are extremely high energy. Sakagami said, "That's kind of how I got my first cat." Cat. Always thought I would have a dog, but a cat just comes into my life. Probably end up better because cats let me play games. Exactly. It's cool because they can just like come into your office and they'll like chill in one spot. And I don't know how it is because like there's a lot of weirdos out there that and like actual pseudoscience experiments of how like cats can absorb your energy and just like all this new age crap. But it's true, you know. I mean, you don't have to call it new age. You don't have to call it pseudoscience. You don't have to call it anything, you know. You can be from any walk or background of life. You can be, a God fearing Christian man and understand that, God or the creator or, the universe or whatever it is created every single thing, especially like animals, to have like a purpose. And for these animals, these cats, to have this kind of effect on humans, it makes me question. It's like whoever created the world, I mean, the world, us, and like all existence, that put these animals within our reach that can do so much to our mental state, I think is really cool. Now, I can't explain it, but it does seem like whenever I'm in a certain mood, my cat acts a certain way. Whenever I'm in a good mood, depressed mood, angry mood, like it does something, and then it kind of helps you get grounded in that moment. I'm 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 doing a terrible job explaining it, but everyone knows exactly what I'm talking about. I know, and I mean that's literally one of the reasons some people get like support animals and all that other stuff. So emotional support or whatever. Peace dog, my precious blue dog and pig died from cancer years ago, and I still miss her every day. Yeah, and I've already read that, but again, my deepest condolences. And sounds like the cat adopted you. The cat distribution system. Dogs are one of the few places it's easy to find. Peace dog said dogs are one of the few places it's easy to find unconditional love. Cats too. Peace dog said I'm allergic to cats, but I've had a few great ones. I used to work at animal shelters, and you just end up with them. I can see that happening. I could not work at an animal shelter. I'd end up with a house filled with animals. The culture has changed so much, and people are very abrasive now, especially in the US. I actually live in the Philippines now. It's 2 p.m. here. Yeah, man, I would love JOP. You need to become my friend in real life so that I can use you to come to the Philippines. Low key, I just want to go on like a solo vacation there, take a break from the family, and go to the Philippines. So you are officially my friend. Um, can we just appreciate how nice the water looks? I mean, the fact that you can like see the clouds, even though like there's trees there, but that's really nice. This is what I love about this game is that they have the low poly art style, but they have these modern effects. All right, guys, we need to figure out why in tarnation can I not chop a tree, or why in tarnation can I not make a campfire? And by the way, if I wasn't streaming and talking to you guys, I would have figured this out by now. But um, I've come to the conclusion that anything I do in regards to gaming while I'm streaming is just going to be terrible. Like, for example, I logged in the other day and I got in the zone in seconds. I was kiting, I had my everything organized, like I was like a gamer, right? But whenever I go on stream, it's like my brain can't do three things at once because it's talking to you, it's doing this, and then there's like a third element, which who cares? But now, unless like you're specifically just focusing on gaming, then obviously you need to be good, and that's why some people watch streamers. There's like different reasons people watch streamers. There's because you're really, really good at said game, because you are teaching something, because you're super entertaining, or because you know, you're relaxing, I guess, like ASMR crap. But yeah, like if I wanted to be like a streamer, for example, for a game like StarCraft, it would never work because I wouldn't be good at it. I might be good at StarCraft off stream, but I can't see myself being good in public. If that makes sense. GOP said you can definitely come crash in my condo. I would be happy to show you around. PHLO. Hey man, it'd be really cool. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff I've neglected. You know, it's okay to be selfless and to take care of others, but you need to be very conscious of what that sacrifice means, because it can make you resentful, right? What I mean by that is like, men are very selfless naturally. I think it's just in our being or whatever. Like we're always like, we pump up our chest and we go into superhero mode, especially when you become a dad and all this other stuff. But it's important that when you do that stuff and you do it quietly, nobody ever compliments you, nobody ever notices it, and you just do it in silence, even when the world keeps punching you and you keep taking care of people around you, and you just stay silent and no one ever notices, no one ever. It's like in our blood that we naturally just are like that, right? Which is good and dandy. But it's important to understand that, hey, this is happening and you need to be okay with it happening. Because the last thing you need is to spend 10, 15 years doing that and realize you missed your best years and now you're resentful and bitter. And then some men will be in their 50s and they have like a crash out moment and midlife crisis, right? That's one thing I definitely don't want to do. But I do want to repay myself for some of those things that I sacrificed. And some of those things are traveling the world. And in some cases, it's going to be with my family. In other cases, it's going to be me completely alone, where I don't need to take care of anyone. Because as much as I love every bit of being a caregiver, a father, when I say caregiver, I mean like literally caregiving. Like there's a story behind that, but caregiving for medical reasons. Caregiver, parent, sole provider financially, being extremely generous and trying to make sure that not only are they spoiled, but they have a constantly improving lifestyle. Like not just, start off lower middle class, work up to middle class, upper middle class, and the next step is trying to get them to more of the 1 to 10% range, and just beating the crap out of yourself up every single year, dude. And it's like there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm reminding myself that it's like, all right, but at the end of the day, if I'm okay with it, then I don't have the right to wake up one morning and be like, oh, I'm owed this or I'm owed that. I don't know if I'm even explaining it correctly, but like, I'm not trying to have like a crash out moment in 10 years and then like but I did all this for you guys. It's like, if I think that's a terrible thing to do. It's a terrible thing to do. But what you should do, I said all that to say this, what you should do is you absolutely need to, you don't need to wait for other people to appreciate you. You need to look in the mirror, acknowledge all the things that you do for these people. And you need to be proud of yourself. You need to be like, you dang right. See that man in the mirror? I am killing it. Taking care of this family. And I'm not only that, I'm going to do it even more and more and more and yada, yada, yada. But, got to be a little selfish. What are some of the things I want to do? Not what they want to do. Not what she wants to do. What are things that I want to do? You got to take some time for yourself. You got to take some time for your mental health. Because, especially in a relationship, if you lose your identity, then how's the other person going to stay in love with you? If they fell in love with you, if they fell in love with you before you met them, right, then there's a version of you that they fell in love with that didn't have the significant other with them, or where you didn't change for that person specifically, right? So if you want to keep that person alive, then you still have to maintain your identity. And to maintain your identity, maybe you need to buy a motorcycle and go riding. Maybe you need to go golfing with the boys. Maybe you need to fill in the blank, And a lot of people listening that are married are probably like, duh, of course. But the problem is I haven't been doing that. I've been living like a hermit for like 15 years. Only focusing on them. Never focusing on my own needs. Literally avoiding making friends and all this other stuff just because I didn't feel like I had time for anyone except for them. And that is such a terrible mistake. Unless that's what you truly enjoy. Like if you hate people, just objectively hate people, and you don't love anyone except for your closest loved ones, then yeah, okay, that makes sense why you wouldn't want to hang out with anyone else. But for me, where I take networking very seriously, it's actually one of the things that continues to expand my career. Every single career move I've ever made, I've done it strategically by I make a goal on which direction I want to go, and then I meet the people that are going to get me there, and I go shoulder to shoulder with them until I reach the level that I want to get to, and then I repeat and repeat and repeat, right? So for somebody like me, I love people. I love interacting with people and all this other stuff. So there's no reason for me not to do that. But I literally was playing life on hard mode for all those years because I wasn't networking with people the way I would have if I didn't spend so much time with my family. It's crazy. So yeah, JOP. I think that would be really cool for me. One day I want to go basically to all the Asian cities. I have like an infatuation with China, Korea, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines. I've already been in Central America. I've pretty much seen everything I needed to see there. I want to go to Argentina. Definitely want to. I'd like to spend like a year living in Argentina. I think that would be really nice. It seems like a very chill place. I was about to say Europe, but I think I'm going to stay out of Europe for a few more years. Yeah, so anyways, I'll be right back. Oh, you know what? Before I go, can we get this? Okay, see, now my campfire is working. Oh, so it takes 8 wood. It takes 8 wood to make a campfire. I don't know if they increased that or what. I really hope that they're not just like making changes for the sake of making changes. Like, I really like feel like you don't need to make a game like this. And I'm not saying they're doing this, but I feel like you don't need to make the game harder just for the sake of being harder. You don't need to overbalance it for the sake of balance. I maybe that's a bad take, and it makes sense why they do what they do. But it just makes me ask the question, when they were developing EverQuest, before they knew that it was going to be a massive success, how much balancing were they really doing, like, ahead of time? How much testing could they have been doing or predicting of how players were going to play? I feel like a lot of the stuff happened organically. Like a lot of devs, not talking about Eminem, but other devs, we want to make a social classic MMORPG and we're going to encourage grouping and all this other stuff. Like, I don't feel like when they were developing EverQuest in 1998 and 1997, like they were having those kind of conversations. Holy crap, she looks cool. Look how cool she looks. Wow, you look cool. I'm going to give her a little dance. Take a quick screenshot. I don't know, man. I just want to have fun. I'm not worried about the balance. I'm sure other people are. I'm sure there's like the Criddles and the Squatses and the Slayheims and the classic EverQuest. I mean, actually, to be fair, they're not really that min-max. They're all kind of like me they just like to play the stuff, Squats more so, he's really good at paying attention to the stuff. Like Criddle, yeah, he's like follows every little thing to the T. But classic EverQuest, I feel like he's just a gamer, and Slayheim is just a gamer. I'm just a wannabe gamer. But there's a lot of I appreciate everything they're doing from a balancing perspective, but I don't know, man. I feel like just keep pumping in content, keep filling up the world, keep, making it so you can find trees to chop trees and nodes so you can get stone and gems and stuff so you can craft. But don't intentionally make it hard to do simple tasks just for the sake of being hard. Like, I appreciate the fact that, like, as an archer, I need to craft my arrows. I think that's a really cool thing to do for me, because the way I play these games, it might be me logging in for like 30 minutes just to get up to speed on how many arrows I need, so that the next time I log in, I have a lot of arrows, something like that. But if you just intentionally tweak it because you say, oh, we've made it too easy for you to make arrows, it's like, it's the mentality of, are we really making the judgment of what's easy and what's not easy? Like, that's kind of subjective, don't you think? Easy, so why not fix it until it becomes a problem? I don't know. Again, I don't know what I'm even talking about right now. I think it's because of the wood, because I had 7 wood logs and I had needed 8. I could have sworn you needed 5 logs to start a fire. What benefit does making a campfire require 8 logs versus 5 logs? Like, how is that making the game more fun? And I'm sure there's a really good balancing reason, but I'm just saying, it's what the heck is the stupid word I'm looking for? Not the rule, not the concept. It's the principle. It's the principle. It's like, it's the principle. I don't know. Whatever. Not a big deal. I want to go back to Antigua, Guatemala someday. Magical place. Yeah, that's where my wife's family's from. I spent a lot of time in Antigua, Guatemala. Magical. Peace Dog said, you can definitely... You know what? Before I catch up on chat, I'll be right back. Alrighty. I had to, we got some loaded nachos, and they were really good. I had to eat some. Peace Dog said the EC tunnel was the most social thing in classic EQ, and I don't think it was intended by the devs at all. Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of these devs are doing more harm than good, trying to be social. I've said this many times before. I think that catching that lightning in a bottle is you just make the world as organic and living and breathing and filled with content and non-linear as possible. Like, one thing I'd like to see more from Monsters and Memories is I'd like to travel in between zones and find a range of mobs. Like, I don't want to go from this zone to the next zone and automatically it's 20 to 30. And then I go to the next zone, automatically it's 40 to 50. You know, not saying that they're doing that. I just don't want to see that, because that's not how the world works. You know, you can go to different countries, different region, and you're not going to meet like 50-year-olds if you go to Louisiana, and then 20-year-olds if you go to California. Like, no, there's going to be a mixture of demographics in every state, in every city, in every county, right? And if you're trying to build a world, then it should be the exact same way. You shouldn't just go to the adjacent zone and automatically meet mobs that are all red to you. There should still be low-level mobs tucked away or roaming. I mean, even if it's just for the aesthetic, you know? Now, one can argue if you reach Lava Storm Mountains, right? And like the equivalent of that here, and it's been taken over by dragons. Sure, okay, like there's higher level mobs there and they're footage, but that should be few and far between, in my opinion. And again, I don't think that they're going to do that. We haven't seen 80% of the world. There's not just Faelindral. There's not just Night Harbor. There's going to be tons of starter cities. There's probably going to be small towns, encampments, and other places where you can find traders and other things. So I'm not saying this is Monsters and Memories, but I am saying that there's other games that have tried to say that we're going to make that classic MMO experience, and then they literally force you to group, like the Chevron system in Pantheon, where here's a group of mobs, but we literally will not let you fight this thing by yourself because it has this thing called a chevron on it. And the chevron means this level 10 mob that if you're level 10 and it's level 10, then normally you can solo it. I mean, but we're going to make it arbitrarily, what's the word I'm looking for? Artificially. We're going to make it artificially stronger because it has this little chevron. And now there's no way you can fight it unless you're in a group. And that way we're solving the problem of grouping by forcing you to group. Well, frankly, some people will do that, but other people are going to be like, but you're taking away a freedom, and now I don't have the freedom to make choices, make creative decisions. Because even when I was kiting and I was trying to be very, and by the way, they got rid of chevrons. Like, enough people complain that they're like, okay, this is not working. But again, like when they were making EverQuest, they weren't sitting in a room saying, hey, we want to design this so that all the people around the world go to this place called East Common Lands Tunnel, and they're going to trade there. And that's where they're all going to meet up. Yeah, and how do we do that? Oh, we'll convince them to do it. No, it happened on its own, man. Because EverQuest was very open and didn't hold your hand and a whole bunch of other stuff. But, I just think some devs need to be careful with this whole design philosophy of like, we want to make an old school MMO, because they just go too far of over engineering of how do you achieve that experience. And I think the way you achieve that experience is stop overthinking it. Eminem does a really good job with that so far. So yeah, Peace Dog said the EC tunnel was the most social thing in classic EQ, and I don't think it was intended by the devs at all. JOP said, I agree on the balance talk. I bet that so many things they never imagined. Did they ever expect the bard to grab the whole zone and kite it? I doubt it. Yeah, exactly. And they nerfed it ultimately, but that's because, like, as a bard back in the day, you could literally pull every single mob, and then your spell would damage every single mob. So then they reduced it where it's like, okay, fine, you can pull every mob, but your AoE would only hit like a maximum of 13 mobs or something like that. And then as EverQuest progressed, then they reduced it to like 3 mobs or something stupid like that. Peace Dog said, I think players will always come up with things the devs didn't intend, and that's what makes these games great. When you discover things and do things against the way the game was intended, it like an exploit, but not a malicious exploit, but just something that's fun. That's part of the fun. That's part of the fun. It's part of the reason why we play these games. And when the devs force you out of that experience, they're forcing you out of a game loop that us MMORPG players enjoy. We're always trying to find a clever way of getting around a system. We're always trying to find an efficient way of grinding a mob. The game is already difficult. The world is already unforgiving. And we want to be clever and unique on the way that we confront this world. But if you take every single nitty-gritty thing and over-optimize it, you're optimizing the fun out of the game. Again, not saying Eminem, but just games in general. Peace Dog said, I think players will always come up with things the devs didn't intend. Yeah, I mean, just look at the new Zelda game. The new Zelda game with the crafting system, like, I still see new videos of people, like, they chop the tree, and then they do a special effect whacking it, and then they grab the tree, and the tree becomes a freaking rocket. I don't think the devs intended for that to happen, but they didn't patch it out. Peace Dog said a bard charmed Dracolich in fear and wiped the zone back in the day, and that's amazing, and that's hilarious. I remember in World of Warcraft when they did something to a boss mob and paraded it through the entire world and killed almost every single NPC in that zone and all the city guards and everything. That's fucking amazing. Because guess what? That could happen in a real fantasy world. and good for him for doing that. So a bard charmed. JOP said that's the whole point of an RPG is to be clever. They sanitize it too much and it becomes like a linear non-RPG game. That's a really good way of saying it. All right, how are we going to do this, guys? So, like, all right, snaring shot. Oh, that's okay. Nope, not good. Oh, these guys are pretty slow. Can I kite these things? Hold on. Nah, there's no way. Way too many of them. Yeah, I'm just gonna get myself killed. I spent all that time yapping and now I'm back to it being nighttime again. A lot of game. JOP said, a lot of games and products are designed to be a time sink. The ideal is to keep you enthralled as long as it is physically possible, not always balance of fairness. Yep. Peace Dog said, a bard charmed a Dracolich. I read that. Yeah, like I never like guardrails for that reason. Like the what used to drive me insane about modern MMOs is level caps for items, and it just never made sense to me. Like you literally can't use some weapons because it would say required level 40. So you're locked out of content. Just so annoying. Well, why would we do that? Oh, because we want to make sure people don't twink. It's like, so you don't want people to reward themselves for the hard work that they did leveling to level 60, and now they want to, you know, twink a low level character because they earned it. Like, really? And somehow the game is supposed to be funner now because you beat the system, you put a level cap on a weapon. Congratulations. Now you're going to have to repeat the exact same 0 to 60 experience with the same exact thing you just did and loot the same exact items because that's going to make the world fun for you. Get out of here, dude. Now, look, I'm not even an advocate for video games that are just like number go up or like constant flashing numbers and, you know, just that kind of fun. Like, I'm not against it. I don't think there's anything wrong, but I like games with a little bit of depth. But when if it's over engineered to the point where you can't even do, we can't even twink something, it's kind of ridiculous. Okay. Whoa, he just spawned on top of me. Oh, because it's nighttime, they started moving around. Oh my gosh. I really hope I don't get snared. Holy moly. Oh no. Oh no. I'm really dead right now, guys. It's actually over. If I get away from this, it's gonna be a miracle, but I have a feeling we're not gonna survive. Oh, what? I got a debuff or something? What's happening? Infectious disease. Oh yeah, I'm about to die. I had a damage over time thing on me. And I recovered from my disease right when, at the perfect time. All right, what was I gonna say though? Yeah, like right now, I'm struggling. Like, I haven't played the Archer enough because I've been yapping like a fool tonight. But I'm really struggling to understand why my snare only lasts 6 seconds. And I'm questioning what's the point of a 6-second snare with a 30-second cooldown. Like, the math isn't mathing. So this is my other snare. Scatter around, decreasing movement speed targets for 3 seconds. And that has a 60-second cooldown. So I'm trying to just logically think about this. So if I'm an archer and it's all about mobility and moving around and, you know, kiting. I mean, that's literally an archer. He's the definition of a kiter more than any other class in the game. Would be an archer. I mean, in the same category as maybe like a wizard or something like that. Only difference is wizards use spells and archers use arrows. How does a 6-second snare benefit me? How do I kite something with 6 seconds? So maybe, okay, I'll do caltrops. So that's 3 seconds. And then I have a 60-second time down. And while that's timing down, I can get a few arrows off. And then I need to snare right after that. And that's another 30 seconds. By that time, I'll have caltrops back. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to try to do this on some low-level mobs because I'm really struggling to understand how that's enough time for me to get anything done. The other thing is I'm probably going to need disengagement so I can get some distance between me and the enemy. Oh, and the other thing, it's because I don't have net shot. This is my other one. Fire net target, interrupting their casting, knocking them back, and immobilizing for 6 seconds. So it would have to be a combination of these three. Net shot, caltrops, and snaring shot to slow them down. Yeah. And then disengagement. It will have to be a combination of those. Interesting. Well, it's a good thing I died on the path here. Yeah, those mobs that were like super high level, and I had no business fighting those guys. But I'm still learning about the zone, so what you gotta do when they come for you, bad boys, bad boy. What you gonna do when they come for you? Okay. Da, 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 da. Oh, I need to fix that. I just remembered something. I never got my recipes. All right, and not that I should apologize for this, but for the sake of just being me, and this is just how I talk. You know, tonight's really just a chill night. Don't really care about accomplishing anything. I don't have to worry about the playtest ending or anything like that. I'm literally just running around hanging out, so don't expect any progress or anything exciting to happen. Which is what I do 90% of the time anyways. All my friends make fun of me because like they all have like 4 level 60s, and for me it'll take me like 3 years to get to level 47. And then by the time I hit 47, I'll start an alt. And then it'll be another 3 years until I hit level 40. I think it took me 26 years. It took me 26 years to get my druid to 57. Imagine leveling a character for 27 years and only being level 57. It's actually crazy. But I'm joking, of course. It wasn't my original character from live. It was on P99 Green. When did P99 Green come out? When did P99 Green come out? Gosh, AI makes everything so much easier. October 25th, 2019. So, yeah, like 6-7 years. That's crazy. And speaking of like progress and playing things the way they're intended, if anyone wants to actually see how you're supposed to play an archer, that latest video from Squats the Goblin, he goes into it in detail and he kind of like explains what works really well. Peace Dog said, well, that's better than my 51 monk on green. Well, see, there you go. I was actually shocked that I made it to 57. And the thing is, what's crazy is when I did get to 57, that's when I stopped because I got I got too close to level 60. So I'm like, oh, I can't hit level 60. Oh, that's classic. Crocus said, choo choo to zone line. All right, let's see what we got. So fletching kit. Do I have a fletching kit on me? Where's my fletching kit? Why do I not have a fletching kit on me? Never leave the house without a fletching kit. Like this, I still have a big question mark, wondering why can't we find another solution for this? But I know they you know, the thing I love about these devs is they really do a good job of. The one thing they're going to be good at, I think, is they're going to be good at balancing, you know? And I don't mean that, like, in a bad way. They do a really good job. Just be careful. Be very, very careful. Worn ironbark bow. Oh, wow, fine wood. I got a nice bow, dude. 13 damage, 37 delay. That's a really nice bow. So I'm, like, to be honest, I'm a bit twinked, if anything. All right, let's get to work. Is that a fletching table right there? Okay. All right, recipe. How do I memorize a recipe? You learn a new recipe. You just right click it. Okay. So here are the net arrows. I need wood and a rope. 50. I think I know. Can you craft the rope though? Also, how do I learn how to tinker? Place, torch, fishing. Wait. Tenacity. What's tenacity? Become tenacious, removing all incapacible effects and granting immunity for 15 seconds. Oh, that's dope. I didn't even know I had that. That's interesting. Dexterous. I haven't used these abilities not once. Like all these skills that you come with, that the game gives you in the beginning, I've never used them. I should probably use them occasionally. All right, let's move on. Peace Dog said I kind of abandoned him when I rolled another monk on blue. Yeah, and then I went to Project Quorum. So that was the other thing. Let me find... Oh, you know what? Let me just do this. Report bug. World collision terrain. Missing. Can walk, clip through. Stuck. Line of sight. Stuck spots in terrain. Can walk, clip through walls. Player falling through terrain. Other. Doorway to Archer Guild in Faelindral. Facing an archer instructor. And a fighter instructor is blocked by an invisible wall. Doorway to Archer Guild in Faelindral facing an archer instructor is blocked by an invisible wall. Okay. Bug reported. All right, let's keep going. So where is the archer trainer? I'm assuming it's this guy. Okay, so parry, dual wield, double attack, and dodge. So how do I get tinkering? Because now there's a new skill for tinkering, right? Tinkering. Monsters and memories. Skill tinkering. There's nothing on tinkering. Let me go to the... Where's the new... oh, that's bright. All right, community hub, patch notes, tinkering. Okay. Basic tinkering has been added to support archer trap creation. It is not advised for anyone other than archers to pursue this currently. Tinkering vendors have tinkering toolkits and schematics for components used in trap making. Okay. So, where is the closest tinkering person? NPCs, Faelindral. This is one thing. You definitely, if you want to do any kind of crafting, Night Harbor is the place to be. I love how the concept art looks so much like the game. Kudos to them for actually doing that. Okay. Okay, tinkering. Yeah, I don't think it's updated. I don't see it. All right, let's ask people. Hey guys, anyone know where the tinkering NPC is? None here, only in Night Harbor. Bamboozled again. Thank you, kind sir. Anyone porting to Night Harbor area? Yeah, we need to get out of here. Who druid? Nope. There's no druids that are high enough level. I shouldn't have done that, man. I just got... Never mind. Holy cannoli. It's 3. But I don't care. Alright, let's buy some rope. We're gonna buy some rope today. Gonna buy some rope right now. And by the way, you know, I genuinely don't know if that rant was justified about the campfires earlier, because maybe I'm just remembering it wrong. But I could have sworn wood campfires only took 5 wood, not 8. But I could be wrong again. I was wrong once back in 1987. I really enjoy the pace of this game, though. And I think most people will, as long as they don't go into this with that eagerness to just constantly just be rushing through content. Like, there's something really nice, I guess, about just being able to know that you're here today, you're here tomorrow, you're going to be here 3 years from now, and nobody's rushing you to consume all the content. It has like a permanence to it. That's what I loved about EverQuest, at least what I thought of EverQuest back in the early days. And what Project Green meant to me, and Quorum, it had a very, it had a feeling of permanence to it, because you're like, even if I leave for 3 years, it's all Gucci. I'll be fine. Like, it's not a big deal, basically, to take a 3-month break, you know. Sure, a couple of your boys will be higher level than you, but, you know, they can size you up with some nice armor, and then they can power level you a little bit. Or you can just find other people to level up with, and it's, who cares? You know? Most modern MMOs don't make me feel that way. Okay, here you go. Rope. Silk. 50 length. Well, I don't know if it is silk. Is it hemp, or is it... I think it's got to be hemp. And I don't think you can make it inside the fletching bag. Oh, crap. What? Oh. I was so confused there for a second. Pitch wrapped arrows, stone head arrow. What's a pitch wrapped arrow? An arrow with layer, pitch wrapped, wood resin cloth straps. I don't even know what that is. So they might need to invent a better fletching bag then, because I guess the thing is, you can't make some of these arrows with the regular fletching bag, and you need to be at a fletching table. But if they're gonna go that route, then at least give higher level players the ability to buy like an advanced fletching kit. Because it sounds like a pain. All right, we're gonna buy the 50 length rope. That's 25 copper each, and hope that that's the right one. But we're doing this for science right now, so let's buy 4. And now we're gonna run all the way back. I would have bought more, but I completely forgot what kind of rope I needed, so I don't want to buy a whole bunch. JOP said, I love EQ, and I just didn't have the time for it back when P99 was becoming big. Yeah, no, I feel you. You know, love EQ too, and you know, I think that's why it's really important for a game to be timeless and not on a schedule. Because there are people that will have time, and then some people that won't have time. Here's the thing, like, it's not really an age thing. Like, it's not about I'm 40 years old, I don't have time. I'm 20 years old, I don't have time. I'm 80 years old, I don't have time. People will make time for what's worth it to them. And you might go through ebbs and flows and seasons. Like, I remember the reason I started playing stopped playing EverQuest is because I wanted to make some friends. I think I was like 18 years old. I'm like, yo, I better go touch grass and try to get a girlfriend or something, because this is dangerous. I was really addicted to EverQuest back then. So for me, it wasn't a time thing back then. It was more of like a mental thing. I was like, yeah, maybe I should do something more healthy with my time. But the thing is, like, now I got the girlfriend, and she came with three add-ons. So you can say I'm busy, but then I can also say that I do a lot of other stuff that I'm busy with. And it's all about how I schedule my time. But when I feel pressured to play a game, because if I don't, then, you know, the world is going to change or the content's going to change. I don't like that feeling, man. The FOMO thing, and then they make the game progress super quickly, so you can't like just take it easy and slow down. So like, I really like something like this. And as long as I said this earlier, they just need to fill the world with content. And I'm not talking about like quests and mobs, but just make the world dynamic and filled, like to the degree that you can run down like the North Carolina lookalike zone, and you have your favorite inn where you sit there because there's a custom song that plays just in that inn. And you chill by the campfire and you chat with your friends, and sometimes you like to sell stuff there, whatever, it just doesn't freaking matter. But the fact that you can just sit there and chill and have that kind of downtime without panicking of saying like, oh no, I gotta go level, oh no, I gotta go do this, and you can leave for like 6 months and then come back and the game is still there, exactly like you left it. Your character is still there, exactly how you left them, and you haven't missed out on anything. Like, people kept playing, but they're gonna keep playing, and they're gonna keep making alts, and there's always gonna be an opportunity to see them, you know. Like, they're not gonna quit for a lack of content. Like, the world is just filled to the brim with it, and it's a great place to be. So the only reason people would leave, and your so-called friends would leave, is just because they are going on another adventure, a real-life adventure, because they want to take a break. But that has nothing to do with whether or not, like, the game is moving too fast, right? So That's really the lightning in a bottle that devs have to capture, is how do you make a game that has content to keep people coming back. But I think the secret sauce is, it's not so much the content, it's kind of like the vibe of how the whole world revolves, you know, because you can put 1,000 quests, but then the game would still be bland and boring. And then sooner or later somebody will complete every single one of those 1,000 quests. So we're gonna make 4 of these suckers. Failed. Failed. Yay. So how many did we get? 40. Okay. So I'm assuming I can just put this in my quiver. So now that I have the net arrow, net shot. So we're going to keep disengagement. We're going to keep net shot. Fire a net at your target, interrupting their casting, knocking them back, and immobilizing them for 6 seconds. This is really hard to choose. I don't know which skill to sacrifice here. I don't want to get rid of that. Don't want to get rid of that. I don't want to get rid of that. And I feel like they removed some abilities that I really liked. Like there was like I'd have to go back and look, but there was like a big damage one where it was like assassin shot or something like that. You know, there's a reason why I just try to play the game and not get involved with the development too much, because it's better to just trust the process. Instead of getting like emotionally tied to the development, it's like just have fun. Because I don't really pay attention to these changes, and I don't really care. And I have such a great time just enjoying and going with the flow of things, and just reminding myself that I'm like, all right, the game's in beta. Like, there's going to be so much that changes before EA launches, and like 1000x more that's going to change after 1.0 launches. So it's just so unwise to get upset about any changes and just be like, okay, I'll be open-minded. I'll give it a shot. I'm just making a self-observation, because for a second there, I was like, wait a minute. Am I bothered by this right now? Am I really worried about the state of the game and the state of the skills this early in development? Version 0.025. Yeah, I'm being silly. Especially when I don't even remember what I'm talking about. Like, I could be wrong about like half the stuff I'm talking about regarding the effects, you know? So, bye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 6. All right, let's see what is all this stuff. These are just random scrolls. Elementalist. You know, and I think I really want to play like a summoner. That would be really fun for me. Because I love having pets, especially like as a solo player. So I kind of abandoned when I rolled Monk on blue. I love you, Q, and blah blah blah. JOP said, "You guys playing Legends when it comes out?" Maybe. Only if I do it my way. Honestly, it. I'm gonna bite my lip, bite my tongue. I'm really bad at going with the flow, and I promise I'm not being intentionally different. It's just so here's my way of playing EverQuest Legends. I would play it exactly like I play Classic. The only difference is I'll take some additional risks. I've just been seeing like a lot of stuff where people are playing it like, I don't know, Elden Ring or Monster Hunter. It's like you're basically just going after the boss mobs and that's all you're doing. And that's literally all you're doing. And then you only go to the places which have the best loot. And if it doesn't have the best loot, then you don't even bother going after that content. And I don't want anything to do with that mentality. So as long as I can log in and just have fun and explore old EverQuest organically and just have fun with these new quality of life features and these new mechanics and this new stuff, yes, I'm 100% going to be playing. But I just need to be careful that I don't spend too much time around the other type of way people are playing, because I'll lose interest really quickly. But from my personal experience and my way of playing the game, I've had an amazing time in EQ Legends. I've had a great time. It's a really, really good experience. And I was honestly, I was not expecting it. I was not expecting I was going to like it at all. So for me to say I like it is saying a lot. So yeah, I just don't know whether or not I'm going to be like streaming it, I guess is what I'm saying. The problem with streaming EQ Legends, especially when it first launches, is that it's going to attract a lot of people to the stream. And I want to really be careful. Like, for example, like Crimson Desert, I really wanted to play that game, and I really wanted to play it on stream. But I wanted to wait until the hype died down, because I didn't want to accidentally attract too many viewers to my channel. That's actually one of the things like a lot of streamers do, is they try to stay on the trend. Like when a new game comes out, they make sure they play it because that boosts their numbers up and helps them get new viewers. So I'm being cognizant of that, and I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible. So that's why I try not to play any games when they launch. Because I mean, you can screw up accidentally, and then boom, your stream or your video starts to trend. You get 1,000 viewers, and then yeah, wait, no way. That would be a nightmare. So yeah, am I gonna play it? Yeah. Am I gonna do it just for my community? Yeah. Am I gonna do it once it launches? Probably not. Probably gonna wait. Wait until people stop talking about it, and then I'll start playing it. The sooner the hype for the game dies down, the sooner I'm gonna play it. Unless they reach out to me and they're like, "We'll pay you $10,000." I'll be like, "Oh, yep." I'm down, dee down, dee down, dee down, dee down. I'm more than happy to take somebody's money, but that has never happened, and I don't expect it to ever happen. I mean, honestly, dude, if somebody came up to me with a deal of saying like, "Hey, this whole streaming thing, I know you're doing it for fun, but here's like guaranteed money, 6 figures more than what you currently make at your day job," I would do it in a heartbeat. I'd be like, all right, yep, I'm all yours. How many hours a day do you want me to stream? 8? Done. Oh, I have to be entertaining? Done. Who wouldn't want a job sitting at a freaking computer playing video games and getting paid for it? Literally easiest job in the world. Assuming you have your the right for your own creativity and you're not being told what to do. I love EQ, I just didn't have the time, blah blah blah. You guys playing EQ Legend, I want to see all the dungeons, particularly I want to see all the things I never saw in live. Yeah, for sure, exactly. And that's exactly it. I want to do all that stuff, and then I also just want to explore random places and nooks and crannies. So the reason why, like, I'm trying to avoid some of the bosses, at least in my earlier levels, is because I don't want to feel so powerful that going into like North Karana and kiting 20 mobs starts to feel pointless to the degree where I'm just like, well, why am I doing this if I know that I can go kill a level 50 right now? You know, I don't know how to explain it. It's more of a feeling, and I'm trying to put it into words. So if I'm playing the game and mentally I'm like, oh, I can kill these bosses, so I can just skip to them and not worry about these open areas and like try to kill. I forgot what the glowy orb thing is in EverQuest. It's right by North Karana, I think. It's right by the high pass area, and it's this big glowy eye. And like, I want to go after that. Like, even though I've seen that a million times, I'm like, well, let's try to kill it, you know. But if I already know that, oh, don't worry, that mob doesn't drop anything good, it's like, oh, and don't worry, you're gonna one-shot it. It's like, well, I don't want to know that stuff. I want to find out for myself. I want to experiment. I just want to go on, you know, off the unbeaten path or whatever. The evil eye, J-O-P, exactly. The evil eye. That's exactly what I'm talking about. But here's what I'm saying. Like, so there's me being like organically like, hey, let's go find that evil eye. Versus, all right, what's the next dungeon on my list? Because once you finish those dungeons and bosses, it's like, okay, lower Guk boss done. You know, Plane of Hate boss done. It's just like a bucket list. I've beaten these bosses, and then what, is the game over then? Versus, hey, let's blindly go to this area and I don't know, whatever. Long story short, I'm glad that they're adding custom content because it would be nice to be surprised by what's in the world. And just in case you're wondering where all this is coming from, it's just because I've seen some other streamers where they've pretty much already beaten the game. And that's not like the EverQuest I love, you know? So when I kind of see their lack of interest in this game and this world, and because they've pretty much beaten it, it's kind of like, oof, I hope I never feel that way. It's like, take the magic out of it, man. All right, let's try this, okay? So, net shot. Okay, snaring shot. Okay, so I have 6 seconds. Caltrops. Oh, I can't. Interrupting shot? I don't know. Okay, what else? What else? See, I can't snare it. I don't have anything to snare it with. Okay, snaring shot. Oh, see, and I can't even shoot snaring shot because I have to be far away. Oh, there it is. Okay. Maybe I was wrong. Okay, so I mean, we kind of kited there. I mean, yeah, that was technically a kite because I barely took damage. Let's try that again. So what did I do that time? I did, oh, let me do this. Let me do barrage, and then I'm gonna do net shot. Oh no, that's stupid. It should have been the other way around. Okay, there's that. And snaring shot. Okay. Quick shot. Is he even snared? Did my caltrops not hit him? Okay. So snaring shot, let's see if it lets me do it. So no, because I'm too close. Your target is too close. So, what about net? Okay, so net shot works. So you can technically use net shot, but it's just the recast time is just so ridiculous. I'm sorry, but I don't know how I feel about that. You know, I need to keep my opinions to myself because none of it makes a difference. Yeah, so I can't do that. I mean, I got caltrops, I guess. I'm gonna try it a few more times and see if I can actually find a rotation that works. Like, I don't mind downtime, but I feel like most of the damage I just took should have been avoidable. Since I'm an archer after all, you know, the goal of my class, unless that's not how the class is designed. It could be that the class is not designed to kite. Maybe that's not part of the design philosophy. And in that case, that's understandable. But just I can't wrap my you get what I'm saying? Like, my brain cannot wrap around the fact of what are we saving, what are we accomplishing, what are we preventing from breaking in the game by giving archers such a low snare. I just don't get it. Like, I'm trying to look at it from both perspectives. It's like, well, you know, if you give him long snare, then it's gonna cause this ripple effect, and then this, and then that. And it's like, well, see, like right now, he's probably gonna give me Spirit of Wolf, and that's gonna change the game completely. That's gonna make it so much easier to do everything. But I'm talking about a world where you don't have SOW. I mean, maybe that's the oversight here. Maybe my logic is just incorrect, because it's like, well, Class&Cool, that's why you need to have Sal. That's why you need to maybe make a speed potion. That's why you need to think, and maybe if you're streaming Class&Cool, you figure this stuff out quickly. But because you have streamer brain right now, you're not even thinking. And yes, you're going to need sound. And yes, there's going to be a delay between these snares. And yes, there's a reason why it's developed like this. And just stop complaining and focus on playing the game right. Skill issue, I can say that. But it just, I don't know. I feel like the snare should be a little bit longer. Thank you so much, Wrath. Testing out the new archer skills. Give me a second, y'all. My bad for complaining. It's just the late night. Hey, I know that was terrible, but you know, I was on mute that whole time. That's probably a good sign that it's time for bed. But before we do that, we're going to try to kite a yellow. Picked a terrible spot to do this. Oh, there's another one right there. And another one. I'm in a terrible spot. This is such a dangerous place to be right now. Okay. Well, we did it, folks. So we kited a yellow. Not bad at all. I'm curious if there's a zone line over here somewhere. Cool looking mountain. I just noticed that. GOP said get some rest. Yeah, exactly. Tristan Bolko said very nice. No, yeah, it's that time. It's 4 a.m. I gotta go find a safe spot to log off and call it. It's a cool looking tree. What's that? A hill giant bandit. Oh. Here they come. Bye, guys. I'm like training the entire zone right now. The heck is that? Are those snakes? That's a big old dude. I really hope I'm running towards a zone line because I have no idea where I'm going. And getting myself out of this mess next time I log in is going to be interesting. All right, where is the zone line? I think that looks like a zone line, right? Yeah, let's try over here. I really hope nobody's sitting like AFK at the zone line. That would be terrible. Yep, perfect. Let me zone back over here. All right, beautiful. Perfect timing. All right, guys. I'm going to say my goodbyes. Have a great night, Peace Dog. It was wonderful talking to you. JOP, great conversation. Really glad you stopped by today and definitely need to come visit you in the Philippines. Jay Sukas, thank you for chilling. Sakagami, we'll see you next time. Jay Michael, it's always a pleasure. Viridian Ghost, good luck on your petition. Zukin, always a pleasure having you here, sir. Yukator, thanks for making it. Glad to see you. Tristan Boko, always happy to see you, brother. And Kuramorth, if you're watching the VOD, then thanks for everything. And then a quick shout out to the members. Always appreciated, never expected, but gotta give it a shout out when a shout out is due. All right, and then I'm gonna leave you guys with the beautiful view. And until next time, peace.